And when God does whatever God does, you have to learn to trust that he knows what he's doing. Because if you would have it your way, then you would have sprung out all the time, right? If you have it your way, you have sunshine all the time. But life works better when you have seasons of sunshine balanced by the season of rain. When you have seasons of joy balanced by seasons of sorrow, because in the providence of God, we discover it takes all that to make a child of God. Somebody here knows what I'm talking about, because you would have not signed up for any of the heartache you've ever experienced in your life. But when you look back at it, you wouldn't change it for anything in the world, because it was when you were at your lowest, you discovered that God was at his best, because his strength is made you perfect in your weakness. And so sometimes you have to cry, because when the tears fall down, it builds you up. And this morning you ought to shout, because your tears made you tougher. Then lying on you made you stronger. Then putting out rumors about you deepened you in prayer. And here you are this morning, able to testify that God developed me in a season of suffering and sorrow. If I never had a problem, how would I know God can solve it? How would I know what faith in his word can do? So I thank God for my mountains, and I thank God for my valleys. I thank God for the storms he brought me through. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. Through it all, I've learned to depend on God. I've learned to depend on his word. It was good for me that I had been afflicted. It was good for me that I had went through a season of depression. It was good for me that I went through a season of depression. It was good for me that I had to raise my child all by myself. It was good for me that they let me go from that mediocre job. It was good for me that they told me I'll never be anything, because here I am this morning, able to testify God's got the last word. God's got the last say. He may not come when you want him to come, but I ought to have some witness here who can testify that if you hang out there with the Lord, he'll be right there on time. There is a painful reality that sometimes we're going to have to cry. Sometimes we're going to have to let go of some stuff, let go of some relationships. And before you go into a new year, you ought to go on and take an assessment of every relationship, because there are some relationships that need a benediction.